Well, the world will be pleased with this one. New York Attorney General Letitia James, a.k.a. Letitia James, subpoenaed by the United States Department of Justice over the $454 million civil fraud case against President Trump. New York Attorney General Letitia James was hit with a pair of subpoenas as part of a grand jury probe scrutinizing that civil fraud case against President Trump. And the issue there is deprivation of rights, her campaign about getting Trump, and the political campaign that she has, in fact, unleashed against Trump, and did. One of the subpoenas, well, let me say this. Acting Albany U.S. Attorney John Sarcone convened the grand jury to address potential deprivation of rights after launching an investigation of James in coordination with the FBI this past May. One of the subpoenas related to civil fraud judgment won by the Empire State AG's office against Trump, which is still under review by the First Department Appellate Division. Got a weird court system in New York, I'll tell you that. A second subpoena reportedly sought information on James's own investigation of the National Rifle Association. See, she's been politicizing her office. She tried to destroy the NRA. She tried to destroy Donald Trump. She's tried to bankrupt both. This is actually fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And it's the only way to get a rogue prosecutor like this, a Stalinist-like rogue prosecutor, to challenge them. Separately, a grand jury in Virginia is examining whether to hand up indictment against James for allegedly falsifying records to receive favorable loans on a home she purchased in Norfolk in 2023. Writes Miranda Devine of the Post, outstanding columnist. So the Albany subpoenas were first reported by Fox News and the New York Slimes. Any weaponization of the justice system should disturb every American, a James rep said in a statement. Now, that's precious. That's precious coming from her. We stand strongly behind our successful litigation against the Trump Organization and the NRA. We will continue to stand up for New Yorkers' rights. How come nobody ever investigates George Soros and his Open Society foundations and their activities? How come that never happens? Letitia James had been a fierce critic of the 45th president, brought the civil case in 2022, claiming the Trump Organization inflated value of its real estate holdings. It was an outrageous case, a disgusting case. New York's top cop and her supporters often profess no one is above the law. In discussing the case, which started with an investigation launched in 2019 while Trump was still serving in his first term. Upstate New York Representative Elise Stefanik, one of our heroes here, she said in her Friday statement that James is going to find out how true her own words are now that the DOJ opened a grand jury investigation into her abuse of power. I pray she runs for governor of New York, and we will do everything we can here to help her. Everything. The DOJ's investigation into Letitia James is a vital step towards justice, she said. I will continue to fight to expose New York corruption, protect constitutional rights, and hold these failed Democrat leaders in New York accountable. Federal Housing Finance Agency Director William Pulte made the initial referral to the DOJ in April, alleging James had falsified records to also receive favorable loans on a home she purchased in Norfolk, Virginia in 2023. Real scam artist. The Democratic Attorney General claimed the Virginia property was going to be her principal residence. So her principal residence was Virginia. Adam Schiff had two principal residences when you can only have one, and he claimed Maryland and California. Now, these are two lawyers, so they're scam artists. Now, she claimed that the Virginia property was her principal residence while serving as Attorney General in New York. Other records showed James misrepresented the number of units for a Brooklyn brownstone she had purchased in 2001. The referral letter indicated that the actions could result in criminal charges including wire fraud, mail fraud, bank fraud, false statements to a financial institution. You know, it's too bad the Barnum and Bailey and that circus isn't around anymore, Mr. Producer. You know why? They could take one of those tents and fit her with that. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. And by the way, no offense. I mean, I did start the group Fighters United as a civil rights organization. I'm sick and tired of people making fun of fat people. I really am. And so I'm going to do something that's going to seem very weird, but I hope you'll view it as magnanimous. I am going to make Letitia James an honorary member of Fatties United, or FU. And so we want to invite Letitia James into FU. Yes, FU. Letitia James. Attorney General Pam Bondi said at the time that Pulte's letter to the DOJ, Ms. James, for both properties listed above, appears to have falsified records in order to meet certain lending requirements and receive favorable loan terms. She's a disaster for New York, Trump said of James on May 6. She's a horrible, horrible human being. I think she's a total crook. Pam's going to have to do what she wants. James, whose office later retained ex-Hunter Biden attorney Abby Lowell. Now, this guy costs a fortune. And I don't think she's paying for the lawyer. I think the taxpayers are. Has accused the 47th president of being a revenge tour since return to the White House. I'll tell you something, Abby Lowell. We're about to find out if she cheated, if she's a crook. You can call it a revenge tour. You can call it whatever the hell you want. He's not the one who wrote the letter. He's not the one to refer the letter. Mr. Pulte referred the letter. The Federal Housing Authority. And this looks like a slam dunk. And, I wish I had Abby Lowell's clients. He represented Hunter Biden. That was a slam dunk for the government. He made millions, I'm sure. And now he represents Letitia James, another slam dunk for the government. You know what I'm saying, Rich? How hard is it to represent these people who seem so thoroughly guilty? I wonder. James has joined other Democratic attorneys general lawsuits challenging Trump administration actions to fire members of the federal workforce, ban transgender procedures for minors. Oh, she's into that? She's into cutting off the genitalia or adding the genitalia to little kids? That's pretty sick. Albany Democrats tucked, here you go, a $10 million slush fund provision into the state budget earlier this year to help New York officials cover, quote, any reasonable attorney fees and expenses incurred during probes not related to their employment. So you, the New York taxpayers, you are paying for her defense, for her allegedly lying on her mortgage forms, on more than one apparently. James Spokes idiot has confirmed the AG will use the state funds as well as private ones to fight the Trump administration's legal actions. I don't know. I think some good government group in New York should sue her. New York State good government group, and sue this fund. This seems like it's utterly an outrageous use of taxpayers' money. That you, the taxpayers, have to fund her defense. And what's her defense? To mortgage fraud. What's her defense? Interesting. So now we have her, and we have Smith. Remember Jack Smith? He's being looked at thanks to Senator Tom Cotton. Now we've got Obama, Hillary, the whole Russia scam being looked at by a grand jury. We don't know where. We don't know who the U.S. attorney is. That's being looked at now. I think they ought to bring this guy, the DA in Manhattan, Bragg. He should be next, as well as the judge there, Merchan, if that is his name. Oh, yeah. It's not retribution. It's called justice. In fact, it's called equal justice. Anyway, we wish Letitia James we got to get her and her honorary certificate, her FU certificate, Mr. Producer. Do I have an FU certificate for her? I don't think so. I got to make one up. I think I'll draw one up this weekend, send it to her. So FU Letitia.